On February 11th, 2022, Stoops tweeted out, "Yo, Asmongold, thank you so much for all the support the past year. You see that upward trend? That is when you started reacting to my videos. What is crazy is that I was close to stepping away from videos around that time. I owe you a lot. Thanks, brother."
It's like you'll have a lot of people. It's kind of like the, like the tortoise and the hare.
When this tweet first crossed my feed, it really spoke to me. It piqued my interest both as a data scientist and somebody who is just generally curious about the inner workings of YouTube and the power that Asmongold wields and his impact that it can have on a channel. And so I started off on a mission to create this video. In fact, to give you guys the real raw numbers. What does it look like behind the scenes? And overall, give you guys my thoughts about what it means to have an Asmongold reaction. And hopefully you guys enjoy this video. My one regret is that I didn't sit down and film out my hypothesis before filming this video. Wait, I'm being told that's not true. Yes, past Brian, are you there? Hey, what's going on, future me? Thanks for having me on. Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm just glad that we can use this footage. So, what's the prediction? I don't think this is going to have a big impact on the channel. What do you mean by that? Well, we're going to get some impressions and some people are going to check out the video and comment on it, as to be expected. But overall, I don't think we're actually going to see a massive impact on the channel. I'd estimate at this moment maybe around 3,000 to maybe 10,000 views, depending on the type of reaction that we end up getting, that he ends up making, and obviously the subject matter of the video at this time. Now, being that, I think obviously YouTube's algorithm will recommend out our video to more people, and overall it will be a positive impact on the channel. It's just not going to be a massive impact on the channel, and that's perfectly fine. Interesting. Any other thoughts? Oh, for sure. Now, keep in mind, this is just one reaction that we're talking about here. When you look at people who've Asmongold has made their careers based off of this, it's multiple reactions over the period of time. But the real key indicator is that the people are actually making the work already before Asmongold even starts to react to them. So if anybody's out there thinking they're just one reaction away from making it on YouTube, hopefully this video, well, we'll ultimately see. I don't know at this point in the past, but what we'll probably end up showing is that it's not necessarily the be all end all that maybe people have made it out to be. But let's go ahead and dive into the data. What do you say, Brian? All right, guys, it's time. Let's dive into the data. We're going to start with my video first, and then we're going to look at the numbers on Asmongold's, and we'll do some calculations and really have some fun with the numbers themselves. So I haven't seen this yet, and let's see here. So far, 6.4 thousand views, over 556 hours watch time, 19 subscribers, and $16.77 in revenue. Now, Asmon reacted pretty quickly right after this video was posted, so thank you guys for sharing that with him and getting it on his feed. I never knew what video actually was going to be one that he would react to. I got several scripts that were always kind of in flux and in play. And so here we go. Originally within the first day, you guys watched this video, 3,525 of you. Essentially the reaction happened pretty much the second day that it was posted, and you could see here it boosted it pretty dramatically and pretty quickly to 5,100, and this is outperforming obviously my typical view, which would make sense, right? And then overall the video has since then pretty much just kind of petered out, flatlined into just kind of a couple of views a day. In fact, you could see here over the last 48 hours, if I wasn't fully covering it up, 10 views over the last 48 hours. YouTube search ends up being at 70% of where the views came from, channel pages 20%, director unknown, and browse features. That didn't really help me out anyway. If we go into the reach, overall 5.8% click-through rate when people see this video. Obviously that translates into the views itself. Browse features was at almost 59%. YouTube search was at 17%. Suggested videos 14%. And director unknown 7.4. Channel pages 5.4. And then we can kind of break down more detail if necessary, but I don't ultimately think that is the case. Overall watch time being generally quite high, and then I can kind of see where essentially people started dropping off the video, obviously towards the end here. Now, this should be interesting to compare it to what we see over with Asmongold himself. And we can see from the video that Asmon reacted to at 154,960 views, 4.2K likes. We're going to take a look also at his channel because Generally speaking, like what is the click-through rate for that? And let me go ahead and get that calculated actually for us here. If he's got 100 and 1.17 million subscribers and roughly 155,000 views on his video, that looks like from this calculation a click-through rate of 13.25%. That's awesome. Like that's great. We'd have to really dive into more nitty-gritty in terms of his individual videos, but what I want to kind of point out here, like in terms of his channel, if I go ahead and search 14, I already had it queued up. Excellent. We could see here like his last 14 video at 193K, the video before that 127K, the video for that 177K. If we kind of just keep scrolling down to get a couple of extra options here, the 160K with the Zeppela video, Cash Shop Exists 123K. Toxic 225K, obviously toxic being a key word indicator, popular games, etc. 198K, obviously 14 being in that. All in all, like this feels like it's a pretty standard 14 video for Asmon right now. Now, obviously, if you look at some of the other topics, he's getting bigger numbers on that. And I think that's just because of the state of Final Fantasy 14 right now as it goes. And I've talked about the states overall. Final Fantasy 14 has a trend where a lot of its hype and excitement come pre-expansion and then into the expansion. And then it kind of gets a little bit quiet as people go through the expansion cycle and then gets back up into the pre-expansion hype again. So that's generally the routine for that. So we've looked at that. Let's look at his the click-through rate of my video, which was at 6,400 in terms of views. Yeah, 6,400 clicks, 6,400 to the people who viewed his. And we're looking at a click-through rate of 4.13%. So overall, like that's awesome. Like generally speaking, this video and its click-through rate of 5.8% is doing just fine. And here's the real takeaway. Like this, when we start to look at these numbers, when we start to actually look, in terms of Stoops' own numbers, especially as it relates to that reaction, what was different between Stoops' reaction and with Asmongold, and overall, what can we conclude from this video and this data? Well, first and foremost, I think there was two aspects. Asmon reacted multiple times to Stoops, and having that multiple reaction helps to, I guess, continue to introduce the topic and the creator to a wider, larger audience. The other thing you have going for it is like if we actually look at some big numbers. So Stoops tweeted that out, 15,000 subscribers on a day, or like, is that a week? A week, that's a massive amount of subscribers. Like, especially when you kind of consider his daily averages are around 100 subscribers a day. So hype and, obviously plays a role. Asmon obviously had a big, impact on signal boosting, but it wasn't just one video that did it in this case. And also Stoops focusing in on one specific game right now. I don't know if that's changed since this, having that kind of impact. So then we go back and look at overall, like his click-through rate is pretty standard to seeing exactly what is happening for that, and then my click-through rate of that video being really what it is. So that's essentially what I conclude from a video like this. Like it's not just about one reaction, it's going to be about multiple reactions that then continue to introduce the content, that then continue to introduce the creator to that wider audience. And then if they resonate with that, I think 4%, it would be interesting to see if, obviously, if there was ever any kind of future trends to kind of analyze for you guys, to bring you, like, hey, it was started off with 4.3%, 13%. Does that grow with time? Does that grow with the subject matter? Because that's also really important. 14 kind of being in a lull. Does that have a bigger impact, when 14 kind of goes on its upswing? Ultimately, we don't know, but I think this is just some fundamentally interesting bits of data. All right, last things going to do. That video generated $16.77, so thank you guys very much. I don't generally like to sit down and like show off charity. I think we should all be very charitable. I struggle with this concept as a creator, but what I want to do is I want to go ahead and donate $100 to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Basically taking that the money that I made off that video and adding a little extra to it overall. And so thank you guys for the support, and thanks for watching that video. And if you can, be sure to go check out St. Jude. They do some amazing work. Obviously, you know, no family should have to you know, pay for going through all this horribleness that exists sometimes within the world. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and get that paid, and hopefully it doesn't give you guys my information. Oh yeah. All right. Anyway, guys, that concludes today's video. Hopefully you got some interesting insight into the world and behind the scenes within YouTube reactions, and how essentially, you know, those all work in tandem. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thanks for watching my other videos, and hopefully you guys have an amazing weekend, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with a clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh.